Transitioning into the swing is one of the most vital points of the swing. It's kind of like the make or break portion of the swing where the bat actually starts to moving towards the ball. Well, in today's lesson, I'm going to show you guys a very, very common issue when we start working on the transition that can happen, that if you can avoid this, it's going to save a lot of heartache and let you hit the ball a lot harder. Let's go ahead and get started. So again, guys, the transition is what happens after the load. So we get into our, let's say we're in our load stride. Right when we start is the transition. In the Pro Speed Baseball hitting system, we call this the max lag position. This is when we actually get into the position. We get at all the angles that we want to get into before we release the bat. Now, this happens extremely fast in real time. The bat gets to the ball so fast, even with a young player that doesn't even swing very fast, it's still lightning in terms of if you put it on a stopwatch. It's always less than a second, and it's so quick. So even because it's so quick, it can be very, very easy to get right, but it can also be just as easy to get wrong. One of the biggest issues that I see in the transition, this can happen all the time when we're working on, let's say, getting in the right position, is we want the shoulder to drop with the hands. Now, let me explain something very clearly, because I did a shoulder drop video a few years ago that got a lot of flack. I was talking specifically about when younger players drop their shoulder before they start their swing. And then I got a lot of comments saying like, oh, every big league player drops their shoulders. Well, when we come into contact, the right shoulder is going to, or the back shoulder is going to be below the lead shoulder. That's just kind of because where everybody's at a little bit of a hip hinge when they're hitting. So it's going to appear as if the shoulder is lower. But if we were to stand straight up and down, the shoulders are just parallel to the spine like they always are. So just so we're very clear, the shoulder will appear to be lower, and it will be lower when we're looking at this on camera. What I'm talking about in transition is when we're trying to get into the max lag position, but I'm trying to drop my shoulder to do this. Meaning I'm trying to pre-drop my shoulder, meaning instead of my hands and arms moving the bat down, independent of my shoulder, I'm trying to, let's just say the distance between my hands and shoulder is 0 right here. When I go into the max lag position, I want it to be, let's say, 1 foot. Well, if I'm doing this incorrectly, the ratio between my hands and my shoulder isn't going to change at all. My shoulder is going to drop a foot. I'm in the same position. Let me show you what that looks like from down the line. I'm going to load stride. My hands are just going to go down away from my shoulder. Now I've got my 1 foot of distance. Now, if I do it incorrectly, I'm not changing the relationship between my hands and my shoulder. I'm dropping my shoulder. Now, I've got the bat in the position that I want it to be in, but my body is now out of position. This is going to end up in starting with a lot of lifts. It's going to make it much more difficult to release the bat. And the biggest thing is it really hurts consistency, because even though we're at a good angle and we can still come and hit the ball solidly, it promotes lifting the ball and getting those pop-ups that we don't want to get. You know, the easiest thing to catch is a pop-up, so we want to keep the ball out of the air unless we're hitting those nice backspin line drives that lift on their own, and they go a long ways. So, guys, to fix this is extremely simple. In your drill work, you can do this a lot of different ways. You can get in your load stride position. Just know when you transition, you want to feel as if your shoulders are staying the same height and your hands are going down independently of your shoulders. I do not need my shoulder to drop to get my hand to go down. My hands are going to go down independently of my shoulders. So what that would look like in the max bat lag or bat lag pause and release drills, if I load stride, okay, if I'm going to do this incorrectly, my shoulder's going to drop. If I'm going to do this correctly, my shoulder's going to stay at the same height, and then I can release the ball. Let me show you what that looks like from down the line. If I load stride incorrectly, my shoulder would drop with my hands. Correctly, my shoulder's going to stay the same height, and then I can just release the bat into the ball. Now, how that would look in, let's say, a full swing, I'll go ahead and mess one up here on purpose. Okay, I'll still try to hit this ball good. You can still hit it good that way, but it makes it much more difficult to do on a consistent basis. So I'm going to okay, so that might have looked like pretty good, but I did not hit that ball nearly as solid as I normally hit it, because the bat, it just kind of did not come into the ball with the kind of speed that I can normally get by releasing it correctly. Now, I still got into a good position, probably got a hit, but again, it was very difficult to do. Now, again, I'm going to let the hands kind of drop independently from the shoulder, keeping the shoulder at the same height. There, and I got that nice backspin hard line drive. That ball was driven hard, it was hit hard, And guys, keep in mind, I'm talking about a split second in the swing that can make a huge difference. So make sure the shoulder stays at the same height in transition. Let the hands bring the bat down and let the wrists do what they need to do instead of trying to do it all with the body. And it's going to be much easier to allow the hands and arms and the bat to get to the ball if I'm doing this versus this. Hopefully we can see that pretty easily, and it's very clear for you guys at home to go ahead and make that adjustment. And the crazy thing is there's all kinds of little things like this that can pop up. That's one of the great things about the Pro Speed Baseball hitting system, is that we go over all those. We go through the entire system. We have an entire section of little things like this that can get kind of messed up. It's almost like your own baseball hitting coach brain that you can check out. Well, I've got a great bonus for you guys. I'm actually going to play you one of those videos from the All Access membership library that you guys can get instant access to. You can kind of check out and see how it looks by simply clicking on the iCard that's popping up in the screen or in the link in the description below. I'm going to play a preview of that video right now for you. Let's go ahead and get started. I'll start showing how our weight shift is involved with the release of the bat. We just simply need to understand exactly where we want to be in our weight shift. So we're going to get a lot more specific. We're going to be talking about the timing of getting the back pocket in front of the tee at the same time we're hitting the ball. But the first thing we need to do, guys, is we need to rep this out and make sure that we can definitely get the weight transfer that we need. So we're going to put our arms across our chest. We're going to get at least 100 repetitions